You know what's better than magical girls? Magical girl video games. Yeah! And today, we got a jam full of them. Hey there, I'm Vladimir Lore, and this is the Magical Girl Jam View. This jam ran for 3 days from April 6, 2018 to April 8, 2018, giving all entries about 72 hours to make their assets and create their game. Only stipulation is they have to be about girls that are magical. Well, that's not too hard, all girls are magical. Like with the Game Boy Jam View, we're gonna look at every available submission, starting with... These entries were either broken, or I just didn't engage very well with them. First up, we got The Last Contestant by Ultra T, basically just showing off cool things they could do with the text box. So much emphasis. Next up, Magical Girl by Ben Makes Games. It has a nice pixel aesthetic, but I couldn't make it past the first chasm, leading to a very magenta death. It sounded like the game respawned the character, but the camera was stuck in the pink. I'm sorry if there was more to this that I missed. Paper Girl by... lots of numbers. It's a simple maze game where you start at the upper level and you try to find your way to the bottom right. You get 3 teleports to phase through the walls in case you get stuck, though that feels more like a solution to the problem of the maze not generating proper and sometimes making unsolvable mazes. However, in my few runs, while I never ran into an unsolvable maze, teleporting was way more efficient than backtracking. It certainly functioned, but there wasn't much to engage me in the moment-to-moment gameplay. Found by Emergency Battle. It's very short. The character will turn if you tell them to walk the other way, but they won't go that way if you're holding down the opposite key. So they just turn their head. The game itself is just a straight shot though to find what you're looking for, and so the only thing this game really has going for it is its really nice art. These entries were pretty alright, nothing to wow ya, but pleasant. Magical Girl Makes Jam by Colin Amos. This one is only 3 screens. I read that it was going to be short because they only had a couple hours to work on it, and I was just so caught off guard by the length that I laughed. Magical Bullets by Pam Nani. Fun little rail shooter. It was a shame there wasn't a scoring system, and I'm also unsure if I could even get hurt since I missed a few floating boys. But it had nice art even if it clashed a bit, and considering the time put into it, I had fun with it while it lasted. Magigon Final Answer by Mick Hemdon. The music was bangin'. The idea was sweet, a rhythm-based shmup, however it seemed a bit poor in execution, and I'll chalk that up to it mostly being banged out in a weekend. If this got cleaned up and expanded upon, I think it has potential. Magical Meteor Girl by Void Proc. This one is cute too, very challenging. It's kind of a shame you can't shoot up or down, especially since you have more screen space in those directions. I like how it kept track of many things like jewels collected, enemies routed, and time survived. It's a pretty good arcade title to kill some time. I had a blast with these entries. Broom Broom by Richard Oles. I love this one. It even worked with the controller, which is always nice. Left and right also made you go up and down, which was strange, but whatever. A neat mechanic was being able to jump off the broom for extra quick reaction height, and the score system was a good addition that made me want to play a few extra times, just to get better. I also like seeing the skybox flip back and forth between day and night. Perhaps if there was more time put into it, you'd have a lot more different skyboxes to keep you going, just to see what weird shit would go on in the background. Hat Trick by Big Roy. Hat Trick has pretty tight controls and a very good challenge curve. Towards the end, I nearly got frustrated, but it was more of my own inability as opposed to the feeling that the game was being cheap. The zoom out function was strange. I wonder why they didn't just have the camera pull back the whole time, but outside of that, it was a great game. Big Roy has a pretty firm grasp on level design. Magical Wolf Girl by Bedstuck. So I've saved this one for last, because I'd played some of Bedstuck's work before, and I was excited to see what they had now. I'm happy to say it was great. A strong aesthetic with an interesting and unique mechanic where you teleport where your arrow is. It was frustrating and it did put me in a shitty mood. My brain just didn't want to do the combo of buttons to shoot up and teleport laterally, and with a different control scheme, it might have been easier to do. The boss was tough the first few times. It was Dark Soulsian the way you had to know its tells, because everything was a one-hit kill, and I always find one-hit kills frustrating. But as opposed to White, the last game I played of theirs, this game only punishes you with one screen, so you can just keep beating your head over and over again. Only advice I can give for that, if you want to have a one-hit kill, do what Hat Trick did and try to make the respawn a bit more instantaneous. There was the unfortunacy of the game crashing in the middle of my first run, and I almost gave up there because, I was just so frustrated, but I didn't, and it was good I didn't. It also would have been nice if getting all the crystals had unlocked some secret ending or something different, but I figure, as with most of the things where just things are lacking or missing, it was mostly out of time constraint as opposed to inability to do so. Making a game in a weekend is tough. There was a lot of talent in this jam. Every entry was pretty cute. Thank you all so much for your content. I'm a little sad I missed taking part in this jam myself, but I'm happy I got to play all your games. Well anyway, I'll see y'all around, and until next time, keep creating.